Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We are back at a place called Ninja Exchange in San Diego. Although today's hunt is going to take us across several stores in San Diego County. So if you're ever here, especially for events like Comic-Con or just on vacation, you know where to go. And I've said it before, it's always good to support local toy shops, no matter how big or small the shops are. And I'm going to show you some of the best ones in Southern California. And it's been a hectic week with work, and the best way to just relax and escape for a few hours and regain focus and creativity in my mind is just to go on a toy hunt, even if you aren't in the market to buy anything. Let me know if that's the case for you. But today we are on the hunt for vintage Star Wars items. And if you followed my journey, we are on the hunt for vintage ships and vehicles, and we've started crossing off items on our list, as you know already, like the Skiff, the TIE Fighter Interceptor, Darth Vader's TIE, and the Side Gunner. But as you can see from my checklist, we have a long way to go. But you never know, we may find other things today. And today, yes, we're gonna learn a few things. And here's a new shop that I've never seen before, and they sell a ton of vintage items, and the owner says they keep getting more and more in. And right now I'm collecting the vintage Star Wars cards, so it's nice to find a place that has them. I mean, just looking at them and the art, it just takes you back to walking into a 7-Eleven convenience store back in the 80s or 70s and picking up, you know, a pack of these, going home, chewing that chalky gum, and just reading the back of the cards. And I've rarely seen these for sale. These are selling for $225. I didn't ask if they had full wax packs inside, but this is, I believe this is series 1 of the Return of the Jedi. So $225 sounds about right. You know, you may get the wax packs for like $5 to $10 each, so it may seem about right. But like I said, looking at these old cards, I see a Garbage Pail Kids card in there. That's classic. Just the art, the way that the art was, especially these stickers from 1977, they just take you back. I love the simplistic sort of like pop art that those cards had. And walking through a bunch of these stores anywhere in the United States, it's really hard to find loose, complete figures that aren't considered beaters. And I consider all of these, you know, quote unquote beaters because they aren't complete. You can't grade these, right? You can just go and, you know, fulfill your dioramas, fulfill your display cases. If you want to do a complete run, you know, these are the way to go if you aren't going to do any grading. So it's really hard at least in Southern California, to find places that sell really good loose items. Oh, I think that's a Star Trek figure, maybe a Battle Galactica figure right there. But you see an Indiana Jones figure right next to it, and I think that's Twiggy. Yeah, that's Twiggy. That might be Flash Gordon next to him. And I always say that the best value, if you're going to do a complete set, is getting the Power of the Force 2 line, which came out in 1995, because you can pretty much buy these toys for the same amount that they were listed at, you know, at retail. You know, just count inflation, and they're pretty much the same price. And I think today we're looking for a Slave 1. I'm hoping to find a boxed Slave 1, but $90 complete seems about right if it is complete. These are very hard to find in the wild. Complete, $160 if it is complete. Very good deal. And this one seems like it's in very good shape. The boulders in question, it looks like a modern boulder, but you know, I didn't take a chance to go and look at it. That elevator looks discolored. Some of the ropes and strings look like they were modern. You have to be nitpicky about that if you're gonna, you know, want to collect these and have it be authentic. So, you know, I wasn't too nitpicky, and I didn't go through that very much. But if it is complete and it was authentic, $160 is a great price. These wax packs on the wall were very interesting to me, and we did end up picking this up for $45. I wanted $40 for it, $45. You know, we came to a happy medium with $45. You know, asking collectors around the block, you know, $40 is the highest retail price. So, of course, he wants to make money. So I was happy to oblige because it's such a great store. Another store that we went to, and this is a new store for me as well. A lot of great stuff. And you could tell he was just setting up his store because it was all being put together. Just a lot of cool little knickknacks, a lot of cool props that he was selling, things that I hadn't seen before. So there was a lot to look at. Like, I have no idea where that came from, but it's pretty cool. But yeah, he did have some really good vintage items, like this Falcon, which I believe he was selling for $225, and it didn't have the training ball. So that brings up the price a lot. That little training ball brings up the price a lot. The Dagobah action playset, believe he was selling, I think, for $90, around $90, but it didn't have the foam. So we asked to check out this Slave One. He was selling it for $240. So I wanted to take a look at it because, of course, I want it complete. I am looking for this one. I did have this one as a child. I remember getting it. I remember getting this one the most distinctively because I absolutely loved this ship. So taking a look at it, it does have the fins, which go on the side right here, and they are, I like to say gravity activated. So those were in there. The most important piece is finding this carbonite block of Han Solo. You want to make sure the stickers are there. You want to make sure that there's a little stamp on there. And this is why, because a lot of these are reproduced. It's so easy to reproduce these, but it's so easy to feel that they're a reproduction. And going back to my friend who owned the first store, he did have some 1996 Power of the Force 2 examples, which you got to watch out for. And those are grayish in color. The real one is black. And yeah, it's a definite feel to it. It doesn't feel like modern resin, it has that old plastic feel to it. You want to make sure that this seat does click down and work. And of course, you want to make sure that this, the cargo bay hatch is there. You want to make sure that these are in working order and clicking and working great. And the hatch bay door, you want to make sure that's not cracked. You want to make sure that's nice and cloudy and not scuffed. And of course, you do want to make sure that all the stickers are in place. And this one was. And there's the side hatch door, the side bay door. You want to make sure that all the tabs are there and that everything is fitting nice. So all in all, this was a really nice ship. Of course, it is missing the instructions and it's missing the cardboard insert and the catalog. But I was able to talk him down to $200 if I paid cash. So that's exactly what I did. Went and I found a ATM machine. It's like saying ATM machine, but ATM machine. There you go. So I was able to get that. And as soon as before I bought it, I wanted to look at what complete versions with the cardboard inserts we're going for. This one I found on eBay for $625. The stickers are used. Everything is there. The box is just in okay condition. The box that we just got was in better shape. But yeah, the only thing I would buy it for is the cardboard insert. $625. It is missing, some things on there. This one was more complete. This one was selling for $1,400 basically, but it had everything. So everything in here is inside baggies. You have the cardboard inserts. The most important thing to look on here is the unused sticker sheet. Even though it is bent, I can, obviously bend that back. It had the correct catalog. And it's just great to have these, at least in my mind, in unused content. But for $1,400, it is quite pricey, and I am trying to save money on this run. So we looked at another one. This one was selling for, just over $1,100. This does have the unused sticker sheet. It has one thing in here that the other one didn't have, which is it has the rebate offer. And you can see this right here that, it included a rebate offer on this one. So that's why this one it seems more attractive. This one, I think it has the incorrect Empire Strikes Back. It should be the Empire Strikes Back with the Hoth scene on it, but I have to check and make sure. But yeah, I think this one would be a better value, even though the cardboard on this one seems a little bit better, I would go with the $1,100 one. Just because I like that. So looking around we're at Ninja Exchange still, and I saw this Funko Pop. I've seen this one go for $7,000, but it was signed. It's the Hall H Comic-Con Ahsoka Tano. It was never released to the public. That one that we see right here. The owner said he would let them go for as much as $900 cash to me. This is out of my range, but this one was. This is the Diamond exclusive, the Ahsoka Tano 268 exclusive. This one was selling for $45. We found one in another shop that was selling for $35. So that's the one we picked up. I know I really want the Hall H Ahsoka Tano. I believe only 500 exist of those, but I'm happy to get this one. It has a little bedazzling going on. And, we do like collecting Ahsoka Tano Funko Pops. It's just a nice departure from vintage, inexpensive. And, yeah, these are kind of hard to find because they're not everywhere. Walking around Ninja Exchange, I know people who collect Robin Hood Prince of Thieves. I know people who collect all the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves. And you can find these for basically the same sticker prices as they were offered back in the 90s. Just add inflation. Basically the same price. So if you're going to collect this line, it's a really good line to collect to be a completionist. And Voltron is one of my all-time favorite cartoons and toys. And, they had this Voltron sword. I wouldn't get this yet until I got the complete robot. $750. For that, yeah, I'd rather spend $750 to get the complete Matchbox Voltron, even though they did have a Matchbox Voltron here. This is Voltron 3. This is not the one that I had as a kid. That one you can't take apart. The one that is pictured here, you can't take apart. The one I had all the 5 separate lions. But I am just a sucker for anything Voltron. And this store also had a bunch of old Transformers. This one that you're seeing here, the bombshell one, the Insecticons, that's one of the only toys that I had from Transformers. I believe I had this one, the construction Decepticons, I forgot what they were called, and I had a couple of the dinosaur Decepticons also. Selling for $38, not bad. But yeah, we're not doing a Transformers run yet, but it's just cool to walk around and see these toys from our past and kind of just go through them all. Transformers are one of the best lines. Another shop that's a Ninja Exchange, I believe, it's hard to see what the shop's names are called because they don't list them all, but going through here, Shakti is one of my favorites. Just the way that she's so well detailed as a character and as a toy. And I believe that they were selling this one for about $35. Yeah, I asked. Yeah, $35. So, not a bad price for Shakti. And of course, you guys all know, or now you know, that I'm really into collecting Ahsoka Tano. And this is the Ahsoka Tano 102. This is the re-release of her. I have collected this one before, and the one that I have. So here's the two releases side by side. The one on the left was released in 2012, and that one is the original 102. The differences is, the pills, the bubbles and the pills mostly. So you can look at the pills and see that, they're different graphics. Obviously, the pill sizes are the best way to see it. The card art looks the same, and there's also differences up there in the warnings that you can see. So the original does not have a box. The new 2022 release has a box. Easiest way to tell is just to look on the back because the card art on the back is different. The one on the left, the original one, has a little bit, it not as much legal as the one on the right, the modern Disney one that has, all that stuff on the back. We went to another shop that was selling comics, and the owner dragged me in and said that we're selling a bunch of comics for $2, everything $2. So I asked, do you have Star Wars comics? They said yes. So I picked these up. I just picked them up out of the bin. this one was going for $25. I got it for $2, obviously. This one was going for $80. Got it for $2. I really know nothing about these Star Wars comic books. So, of course, I just picked them up. And we're going to go through a very, very important lesson if you are looking to buy Star Wars comics. And here's the comics that we bought, but these right here, this is Star Wars #1. I bought it a long time ago. It's graded 8, but the way that you can tell it's authentic is that it has this barcode on it. That is the easiest way to tell if it's an authentic comic book and not a re-release. This is #2. Same thing. The first releases have a barcode. The second re-releases, they do not have a barcode. So are these worth more than $2? Maybe. They might be worth $5, maybe $10, but it's not really worth the $25 that this is listed. I would say more like $5 to $10 maybe. This one listed for $80. It's a reprint, so not worth $80, I wouldn't think. But this one right here, the Empire Strikes Back comic book, does have a barcode, so this one is an authentic one. So that is the quickest way to tell if it's a first edition or a re-release. But I was happy to pick these up for $2. So now we're leaving Ninja Exchange, and the reason why that I am leaving through this way is because a viewer asked me, is Comics and Stuff still in there? And yes, Comics and Stuff is still in this mall. It just flipped sides. So if you're ever coming to Ninja Exchange, come check out Comics and Stuff. We're not going to go inside right now, but it is a great store, and they have a lot of things for sale in there. And you can always tell it's Comics and Stuff in Carlsbad by this Darth Mall. So we say goodbye to Darth Mall, and we go to another Comics and Stuff in El Cajon, which is on the other side of San Diego. But I wanted to come here because a couple episodes ago, I did not pick up an Ahsoka Tano Funko Pop that I wanted to pick up, and I searched everywhere through Ninja Exchange for this one. Could not find it, but I knew that there were 2 Ahsokas, the 749 Ahsoka, here, 2 of them. And I couldn't find these anywhere else, which, just goes to show you why I love collecting Ahsoka Tano Funko Pops. They're kind of hard to find, especially the ones that just come out. So we were happy to drive to the other side of San Diego to pick it up because this store is awesome. And again, if you're here for Comic-Con or if you're here visiting in San Diego and want to come to a great shop, come to Comics and Stuff, either in Carlsbad next to Ninja Exchange or the one in El Cajon. I think the one in El Cajon has a little bit more flavor, so we're happy to pick up this Ahsoka Tano. And now we're going to go to a store that's always closed on Sundays. I do my toy hunts on Sundays. This happens to be a Friday. Toy Addicts. I love this shop, and we're gonna take our time and do a almost complete walkthrough because I just want to focus on some of the vintage toys that are in here. And this place does have a lot of vintage toys that I haven't seen them carry before because it's been such a long time. So this right here, have never seen this before. It's the Presto Magic, the transfer stickers, and it makes the action come alive. So it's Return of the Jedi. I believe it's the Jabba's palace. It's the Jabba the Hutt throne room. Don't remember playing with those when I was a kid, but I do remember the cases. The only case I had was an Empire Strikes Back case. This one seems like it's in, okay condition. I didn't ask for it to be taken out, but it's selling for $300. The one thing that makes it really attractive is that it has the cardboard insert, and it might have the sticker sheet, which if I was to get one, that's what I would get. But this shop does price everything very, very fair. This Jabba the Hutt did look great, selling for $120. That's about what these are going for right now. This store in San Diego, I believe, is the best place to buy loose action figures that you want to grade. And this case is just a perfect example of that. You have $40 versions of R2, and this is with the sensor scope, but then you have this $70 version. I would grade this one. And all the examples in this case right here are examples that you could buy for potential grading. And the ones I've sent off for in the past, I have bought from here, like these gorgeous looking R2s. I would buy from here if I was going to find figures to grade. You know, this right here from the Droid Factory, this is one of the most pristine ones I've ever seen. I would buy this specifically for grading. So if you are looking for great action figures, come here. And there's choices too, because on the right side of this, you have all the beaters, what I consider beaters, right? The ones that you're going to use for dioramas, the ones that you're going to use just to fill out scenes, or even do a very inexpensive run of the action figures. If I was going to do a run, I would do a run with beaters. In fact, that is something that's very appealing to me. How low can I do a complete run for? And they don't have to be complete. I think I am going to set my sights on doing a beater run pretty soon, and my first stop would be here, just because their prices at Toy Addicts, I believe, are some of the fairest prices ever. So again, if you're here in San Diego visiting, or coming for Comic-Con, Toy Addicts is in a burb of San Diego called La Mesa. So I would come here. They have other things in the store, but the thing that we come here for is the vintage toys. So this is what we gathered today. We got the Slave One in a great box, and even though it doesn't have any of the inserts, we are going to look for those. We got the $50 wax pack from Series 3. And we also got the comic books for $2 each. And then we picked up the 2 Ahsoka Tano pieces. All in all, it was a great run. And I love going on these runs because I always learn something new. And I always find it to be super relaxing, especially ending up at this place, Foster's Freeze. And if you know, then you know. It just takes me back to when I was a kid. So thank you for coming on this run with me and just enjoying a really, I would say, a peaceful and a very relaxing toy hunt. So please subscribe, like this video, and as always, my friends, thank you, and I will see you next time.